doing this. Huh?
All right, here we are in number 2. It is approximately 10 p.m. Amsterdam time. So how are y'all doing? My name is Tom Albright. This guy right here is Chris Neto, George Tucker, and our beautiful booth dude.
Hello.
So we're going to go around the horn, talk about some of the cool things that we saw today. Mr. Tucker and I both kind of fell in love, but we're very impressed by some artistic speakers. They're made with porcelain. They are available in the US. It was one thing that I didn't know. But they were works of art, honestly.
I tweeted them out earlier today.
Is that the ones that we took a look at?
No, those were the glass ones.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Do you remember the name of the glass ones?
No, I could tell you how they're made.
Yeah.
Story. All right, so Mr. Tucker, what was one or two things that today just kind of knocked your socks off?
Oh gosh, I'm really hyped on the foam sound. They're only a few booths away from us, but they have these stackable that cover, and the fact that they can stack and are modular just floated my boat. I love that a lot.
Weren't they beam steerables as well?
They were beam steerable as
Right.
well. Panasonic had what looks like a cammed light, so you would see sort of like a light that, like what we have above us, a cammed light for a window, but it also has a projector in it to map projection onto an item in a store window or on display. It's about yay big, but yay long. I couldn't get a price. It's a Panasonic PT3000 IR, something like that. Optima has blending and image thing now. They're getting rid of their Pico projectors. That sort of
Sounds very interesting.
That they get rid of the Picos.
Have you talked to them yet about why
they didn't sell? Yeah, they just didn't sell, they said, and they were saying that laser would probably help it, but at the moment that's what they were doing. I saw some great stuff in the Harman booth. I tweeted out earlier today about how much I love those AMX panels. The really long AMX panels are just beautiful. Yeah, is that what they are?
They're the Madero X.
Yeah, the Madero X series.
And the thing about those are this. First of all, you can, the way they display them, you can turn them into digital signage.
Yeah.
Right. So they will go horizontal as well as vertical. And you can basically make them into whatever you want.
What I saw them using that at the booth, which I thought was pretty cool, is because of the long skinny factor behind it, the rectangular shape, they mount it tall, split it in half, put a room scheduler, and use it for room scheduling with a calendar and on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing I knew originally when I was going forward was that it also had, I believe, near field communication built in.
Yes. Yeah. So NFC, which is something that I honestly, when you deal with programmers and programming, NFC is something that some programmers still don't know what to do with yet. I think the control companies don't yet know what to do with. AMX is, to me, on the forefront, ahead of Freshron, and even, of course, Extron and everybody else. But they are actually doing something. They're actually giving the programmers tools to use the NFC to do certain things. Obviously, to trip, certain information and to automate, which is the nice part about that. For me, one of the cool things. So my goal at this trade show, first time in Amsterdam, was to find companies that aren't in the US, right? That was my goal. I've said that several times. I said that on the tech guys show the other day, Shop Talk. I've written about that. I found two today that were just really cool stories. One is a company called Atholite. I wrote a blog post about this. It's a Spanish LED company. So think about this for a second. Who makes 99.9? That's an exaggeration. Who makes the majority of LED panels in the world? China. Right?
Yeah.
China. Currently, Atholite, their panels are also made by China. As of March or April of this year, they're pulling all of that back. They're in the process of constructing and pulling the switch on their own factory in Spain. And they're coming to the US. It's a very nice, very pretty LED. It's about 3 millimeter pitch for the indoor one. Outdoor one obviously is a little bit wider pitch, as is typical for outdoor LEDs. They also have floor LED, which was kind of cool. So it was reinforced. They had people standing on it and dancing on it and things of that nature.
Did they go all Saturday Night Fever style?
They did not. It was more. I would have. It was more of a psychedelic, like 60s.
They were putting it through its paces.
Yes, but the big one that they had, it's about a 2 foot by 2 foot panel. The big panel they had, there's a picture on the website, had space photography going on and a Grand Canyon video going on. You really could not tell the pixel spacing on the darker video. When they brought up the Grand Canyon, you could tell where the pixels were, right? You had something with a darker background, pixel spacing kind of went away. So I was very impressed with the product. I was impressed with kind of their market strategy, right? They talked about the fact that prices, labor costs in China are going up, and they're trying to make more money. And so the gentleman there, he was the U.S. North American sales rep, said basically prices in China are at the point, and prices, when I say prices, I mean not only manufacturing costs, but labor costs are at the point in China they can afford to bring that back to Spain, which is where they're located, manufacture them there, and deal with the tariffs and everything to import them in the U.S. I thought that was a very cool story.
That's actually a big news item, just in the fact that China's always been known for low labor costs. Now it's something coming up
like that, yeah. The other guys that I talked to, which was the opposite of the tariff and the taxes thing, was a screen manufacturer called Cobber. They're out of Poland, make pretty good projection screens, right? We had Penny sit on last night, and I'm not going to besmirch any of our projection manufacturer friends, but projection manufacturing is either do it well or you don't, right? These are make it themselves, which, according to talking to me and other folks in Draper, that's an important thing, right? You maintain quality control, you make everything in-house, right? You owe you not out to somebody else, there's not all you can do.
Your costs are also higher and you can't turn around as fast, but
still, they gotta make themselves. Yeah. And so I said, okay, great. I said, so do you have a U.S. distribution? No, we don't. We don't really do that. So you no, not really. Okay, so here's big American's question. Well, why not? Taxes and tariffs. He said it costs so much, and their price point would be so high, by the time it got into the U.S. market, it would be cost prohibitive. So their market strategy, their business plan, is to simply focus on the U.S.
There's booths near us in our little sort of Outlander hall too. And by the way, this is the day that I got to go into almost every single hall,
which is cool.
Yes, actually, the funny story is I got to be able to tell Brad Grimes in the press room he needed to go hall 9. Didn't know him. I just looked and went, it's to the right, 2 dog legs left, turn, bear right. That's exactly where it is because we've been everywhere today. But there was one near us called Lighthouse, which makes switches. And another one that does phone intercom door station systems.
It's fascinating.
And they're just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Would you be in the U.S.? Do you have a distributor? And they're like, they won't get past the UL, and it's not the certification because they've got CE. It's that they won't pay the money. And there's this just gorgeous stuff that won't come over. And I was like, wow.
So George and I were at Screen Innovations.
Yeah.
And I already had a conversation with Cobber. And so I asked the opposite of that because Innovations is based in Texas. So I asked him, I said, do you worry, do you have a European manufacturing plant, right? And he's like, no, everything's done in Texas. I said, okay, so how do you deal with the taxes and tariffs? And God love them, they're very proud of the product. Great, diamond screens and this, that, and the other. He goes, we don't. He goes, our products they're high-end projection screens, right? And if you're not familiar with Screen Innovations, they have they're very nice screens. A lot of their screens have backlit panels that color change LEDs and stuff.
Iron Man.
Yes. So when a buddy of mine has one, when he plays Iron Man comes on the stage.
It's red.
It's red.
Stuart home screen has something similar, but doesn't change with the video. It's just a color.
Well, the Screen Innovation changes with the video. Right? They also have flexible glass now that's black, and it's some nice stuff. So he was telling me when you import into Brazil, now this is from a U.S. manufacturer. I did not find a non-U.S. manufacturer to compare those two yet, but in the U.S. manufacturer shipping into Brazil, 100 to 125% tariff. Think about that for a second. So in his example, he goes, if the screen costs $1,000, these folks are paying $2,250 for the screen. Their screens are at that point. They're at the marketplace. They're at the higher end screen level. People just pay.
It's the $100 Levi's store.
Yeah.
Here we're paying $25. We're the same Levi's 405 as a kid, or 505 jeans wore as a kid. When I go over to Europe and hang out in Portugal, I can literally, I would literally have a bag taken. All my cousins were sending me orders. This size, this side, this side, this side. Why? You can have 4 pairs of jeans for the price of just one.
Your jeans.
Maybe. Definitely, absolutely, I did.
Back to the booth. So I didn't see anything. I was holding the anchor down at our booth.
Yes,
Our
thank you.
booth.
I appreciate that.
Indeed. And the thing that I get to be impressed by was some of the folks that were doing the Crash challenge that we've been hosting. The current time to beat right now is the Norwegian fellow by the name of Errol, who's at it a minute and 3 seconds.
Call it, George. How fast does this guy do it at this point?
We had 45 seconds at one point. He was able to.
But he's not available to win.
Yes,
absolutely.
But let's track back for anyone who's watching doesn't know. Crestron wanted to do a competition. They asked us to put us in our booth. It's the
Crestron Connected Challenge.
Connected Challenge, which
It's
uses a
150.
and these 2 stations, which are the
Connected. They're the connected tabletops.
And basically it's about doing a huddle space and how fast can you do it and what is needed to go in. Mine, in fact, having to drill the holes for the cabinets. This is a minute 10, minute 20 average people who were doing it around the minute, 2-minute mark, and you're done. And watching these guys do it, watching you do it, who've been doing it forever.
It's even better when I've gotten it down to the point where I'm still actually having a conversation with the guys while I'm plugging in.
Now, when you do that, you're about a minute 10.
Yeah.
So let's not get great. Because I typed in.
Yeah, no, he's not doing 45 yet. He's not doing 45
But he's
seconds.
chatting. He's explaining what he's doing. Even at that, you're about a minute 10.
I'm a social creature by nature.
I've noticed that this week. So. Mr. No, give people a kind of a rundown of the
activities.
Just the first Aviation ISE tweet up.
International tweet up. RSVPs for about 100 people. I would say, considering that there was 4 or 5 events all going on tonight, we had about 50 people show up, and I was very happy, very surprised. We had a lot of the international AV tweets finally show up, arrive, and meet. We got to speak to people, and the questions right out is, they look at us and how we use social media. They're like, man, you guys are, all over the social media thing. We love following this and following your blogs and this and that. But how do you do it? One of the things that I've come to the conclusion between spending my time at the booth and doing the tweet up and working with the Crestron challenges, the culture here is all part of the reason why social is not what it is. It's a very reserved.
I was just explaining that.
It's very reserved. Compared to us, okay, maybe it's me being in New Jersey. You're not going to move ball peen hammer to the forehead, get out of the way. So be it. But that's my style. Okay, now that's my way of doing things. Here, there's a quiet about things, and we noticed it when we were doing the Crestron challenge. I'm out there and trying to bring some people in, and once you get into the conversation with them, the first thing is, "Sir, go ahead, give it a shot." "Oh no, I don't want to watch." And you're like, why would you want to watch? You want to get in there. This same thing, I think, in the United States would have been, you know what? It would have been XYZ guy versus XYZ guy because that guy's from one company, and I want to show you I'm better than
versus ABI SPL versus
absolutely
ABI systems.
They would have passed that around, and the information would have got out. we need to win. And these guys would have all showed up in full force, and you would have had guys trying to break the sound.
Yeah.
Here, it's a little different. It is a lot different. They don't want to touch. They want to see. They don't want to break. They want to.
That was actually
They
how
want to serve judgment on something until they saw you do it.
and that's actually how I would have to start
Yeah.
off the conversations with folks. Instead of going, would you guys like to win a GoPro? It's, no, that's okay. I go, guys, would you like to see a demo? And to which they'd say, yeah, all right, we'll take a look.
And then you relax them and you tell them, hey, I bet you this guy can do it in 100 minutes.
Speed up a bit. You're
I'm out of frame.
You're out of frame.
I'm sorry.
Back to some videos today, though. I don't mean to turn it, but going on with that, we did some technology today.
Yes.
And there's another one that I saw, and it's listening to it's assisted listening. It doesn't sound like it's the sexy stuff, but they have the LT84, which we covered today, which is the video up, I guess, in the next few days.
Yes.
It's not only is it IR, but it expands. So you can have IR and you can have IR expanders or sort of like access.
Explain the flippy thing.
One second.
Sorry.
But all the devices can be. It's an IR emitter, and it's not narrowband. It's wide dispersion. They have units that can count on each other, so you can set the dispersion levels and the angles and whatever. But it can also extend, like I said, like an access point via Pro over a twisted pair. And it has what I thought was the greatest thing on these things, a delay built in. So when the music that people with assisted listening can hear some music, but also get it from their assisted listening device, they can match the timing on most venues. Now, it's only a dial. It's a rough timing. It's not the fancy schmancy milliseconds, but it's really kind of cool for that.
Yes. So here's a crazy question for those DSP engineers. Can you just set a delay in a DSP and do that
And
on
feed it?
purpose? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could, but I guess this all was at the small venues, the schools, the.
Okay. I just
you
mentioned that I had never thought.
But
of
you know
that.
what? I would tell you, I don't know the list price of this. She didn't have it in front of her to tell me. But I would tell you now it's probably far less expensive than another delay unit in a rack for a pro audio.
I understand that, but if you're talking about an auditorium, you're talking about a banquet center, you're already going to have a DSP in place unless you run out of DSP power. Which, let's be honest, is not very often. Right.
But it's a simplified solution.
Yeah.
And what you asked about with the receivers can go around the loop. The loop is inductive for most of those hearing aids that now have inductive loop capabilities. And it's a little, you want to use an earbud instead, which disables the inductive loop. It has a little label, get LED display, so it can say auditorium, French, or so you can lay them out. And if you're French, you pick up the French one. If you're Spanish, you pick up the Spanish one. But the really cool part was that it had IR transparent materials. And what that means is when you get an older person who takes it and puts it on, it doesn't matter which way it's facing because it'll receive the IR anyway, and they don't have to worry about it. And I thought, well, see, that's where the solution is so simple that you don't have to have special instructions. You don't have to have a pictogram.
You don't have to have someone monitor the person.
That's true too, yeah.
Because you can get them on instructions before, and once you hand that off that listening assist device,
right,
they're going to do whatever they want.
It's like the classic of the wedding videos of somebody talking in reverse to the microphone, talking to the other side of the microphone.
That's why you figure eight.
Right. There you go. And then there was also Schneck Schneck systems, which I think a lot of people know about, but I had never heard of. And they have a great device. It's a DVI to DMX converter. So you take the DVI signal and translate some of that into DMX. Then you can manipulate that to control other lighting systems with a DVI signal.
What I'm stupid here. What kind of information from DVI?
I'm going to get more information on it, but it was very brief. But
because it's DVI video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it goes into this converter, and the converter takes the messaging, and then based on your parameters, easy for me to say, will convert it, and then you can manipulate that. So it's for, say, digital display or some kind of advertising or some kind of event that you want that to reflect the action or the video. Sort of like the backlit screens, and then it has an LED screen that could go almost to, I can't remember the number, but the number of cycles of making the LEDs go into what you call the reverse mirror.
The infinity
pool mirror, basically, with these LEDs was just amazing. Schneck systems.
The other thing, and this is, I don't know if it's self-serving or narcissistic or I got to host chair a pavilion chat, and let me just say this, right? The people that were on this panel, I had no business being on. I had no business being there of this.
Now I want to hear you say their names. Go ahead.
I don't have it in front of me. I don't have it in front of me. Otherwise, I would.
We had this conversation now.
But Dinesh from Kramer, Clint Hoffman, Kramer,
Right.
Jean from Barco,
Right.
and then
Their click share.
yeah, their ClickShare, and then a gentleman from Crestron Europe, and
Peter something, wasn't it, from AMX?
this Roger from AMX,
Oh, right.
who works for Sean, our buddy Sean Robinson. Yeah. But you had, think about that. You have Crestron, you have AMX.
AMX and Crest were
right next to each other. They didn't physically hurt each other.
Or pull a knife.
Or pull a knife, or they were very nice, and they all talked about UC. Unified communications and collaboration, where we are, where we're going. It was a very fascinating 45 minutes.
Well, let me ask you this, because I didn't get to say for all of it, but what I saw was happening was basically recognition of what we're all saying. That consumer electronics and the universal software is where all of this gear has to be playing this with.
Yep.
Because the platform changed from specifics to working it out, now you manipulate it to make it what you need.
Okay, so I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
They said it a different way.
Okay.
Here's what they said, bottom line.
Probably more professional sounding.
No. Make it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it was...
the guy from Barco said that, basically.
Well, yeah, make it, and the rest of the panel agreed in some way, shape, or form. Make it simple, make it work where the customer is, right? Crestron has got link solutions. AMX has wireless and integrated solutions for other soft codecs. Kramer's working on that as well, but they're not trying to reinvent this wheel.
Yeah, they're all building collaborative solutions off of a common software platform.
Yes, which is a first. Typically they would probably all be working proprietary.
The hardware is different, and the way they access it and how you go and do it is different. But
the end goal is still
the same way. Yes, make it simple and make it just like the challenge and everything else we saw.
Now,
someone today said, all of these companies are getting simpler on the front end, but it's so smart inside. And it's just
the gentleman from Amex said this, and I kind of not fought back, but pushed back a little bit. He said it has to be simpler for the client, and it has to be simpler from the installer. In my world, that's two mutually exclusive things, right? Unless you're going to make the devices so complex and so all-encompassing, it has to be difficult for someone, right? It's the question of who's it more difficult for, either the end user. It's really easy for the programmer to program and the integrator to integrate, but it's going to be really hard for the integrator to integrate and the programmer to program, but it's super simple for the end user. That's always been, kind of where I live in my world as designing and programming. It's got to be hard for somebody somewhere.
Well, it doesn't come down to what is the hard part, because implementing it is probably the easy part, but whatever you have to do on the back end becomes the hard part.
No.
It's the metrics, it's the
and where that back end happens.
Yeah.
Whether that happens in the shop,
right,
or it happens at the factory.
Yeah.
All right. A couple things we have tomorrow. We're doing AV Week tomorrow.
Yep.
We are not doing it live, simply because of bandwidth limitations, honestly. But we are doing it at the booth. I have been my arm has been twisted, and we will probably be doing a 2-hour show, at least a little bit over an hour, because we've got a lot of people who want to talk to us, which is kind of cool, right? We got some folks from Kramer. We have Kirsten Nelson coming by. I'm very excited about that. We got a buddy from McLaughlin coming by, Paul Zilli from AMX. So we've got a lot of people coming by. We tried to do a tour with AMX. AMX was one of our wonderful Kickstarter sponsors. Could not do it today.
Could not
do it. It was a good thing. Their booth it's an AMX and Harman booth, right? So packed today.
What was Soundcraft and Harmony?
Yes.
And JBL was
JBL, Martin.
Yeah, everything was there.
Joe Andrulis and talk to Sean. So we're going to do it tomorrow morning before the show actually starts, to give us some room to move and breathe.
They've been, as I say, and was it the other day? They were packed as well.
Yeah,
it was just, it's just hard to.
It is a packed show.
Yeah,
I mean, despite everything we've said, it is packed. I mean, there's a reason for day 4. I don't know how anyone could survive 4 days of
I don't
this, but
And in talking with some of these people, right?
Yeah.
So we were having a chat with the university communication group before, and I was asking, because they were all manufacturers that are all showing here. I said, how do you feel about a 4th day? And all of them were like, I have no idea how we're going to do it. You know, they see the need for it, but you've got 4 days as opposed to 3 days of meetings from 9 until 6, and that's the other show. In the U.S., the Infocom show, and I believe even the CDA show, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, it's from 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, right? 8 hours, no big deal.
By 5 o'clock, there is, excuse me, by 4:30, there's a line filing out the door.
yeah,
She's on party open with it.
Not here.
Buses are lining up.
Not here. They play the little ding at 6 o'clock, and people are still
milling about,
milling
and
about in the
talking.
booths. That's that. And the other.
Oh, they had to make the big announcement to kind of shoo everyone
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
It was
So it'll be interesting next year to see how they do 4 days. So yeah, we have AV week next tomorrow. I have a couple of more videos to shoot, and then we'll do another wrap up after we tear down our booth and bring everything back and get some rest tomorrow night. And everybody
No,
goes
we're
home on
not.
Friday.
that's
Well,
separate.
we're not.
That's separate.
We have tomorrow found somebody to give us a tour of this place. We cannot be here.
It's a 2-story apartment. It's
Not this place. We're gonna. We know this place,
I've given you
and
a
we
tour.
and we know this place well. But we actually have, we met people up at the Tweet Up that are, and we also got to go to the Crest. I can't talk anymore. Crest
I
Fest.
went to Crest Fest. Bill and I went to the Kramer party.
Yep.
So,
So
we
we
have Paloma. Yeah, you said it 3 times.
I don't know. She's big in Amsterdam.
Some British accent, but it was decent. Everybody seemed to be hyped for it.
there was a very big fan that we had no idea what.
So tomorrow we go to a probably a nice bar or restaurant that is that way as opposed to that way where we've been going.
Okay.
We need a night where we go and don't come back and have to come back and do the writing. You guys have lived it with us. We're back here. We're doing a show. We hang up. We're up till 3, 4 in the morning, cutting video, doing blog, tweeting, and doing everything because that's our responsibility.
Yeah, that was last night. We went to bed at 3 in the morning, and it was one of those nights where I don't know who said it, but
Did you see
what?
this?
We're going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not because we were out drinking all night.
Yeah.
We were up all night.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went to sleep at 4:30 in the morning sober? And that was us. We went to bed. We're like, you know what? Gotta cut this
Yeah,
crap.
but here's the thing. I'm 40, dude.
I know. I'm not built for this either. Trust me, man. It's a long day and it turns into a busy night.
Very cool. Yes, sir.
Well, no, just Bradford Ben wants to say, just ask you how much more Carter Booth would be if he was him there.
I did Bradford, and God love you. You're our sponsors. You want to work Kickstarter. I did ask Joanne Drulis today why Harmon did not bring the most talented audio man in the world to Amsterdam. And according to him, he said Amsterdam could not contain you. So there is your answer.
So what you're saying, Bradford, is the bail money would be yours.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, we've gotten lots of emails over the last couple of days asking specific questions. One was about the parties, and that kind of. There was one last night from CD. We did not go to. We did not get an official thing because all of us are pro guys, honestly. But tonight
Samsung had a party. LG had a party.
But tonight was the Crestron and the Crane one.
We had a lot of work to do yesterday from running around with cameras on our shoulders.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we will do this again tomorrow night, probably roughly around the same time, or tomorrow afternoon, y'all's time. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening.
It's not AV week, but it's ISE week.
It's ISE week.
Thank you.